One night, Amaka stayed awake staring at her phone, her eyes red with exhaustion. Her latest video had less than 1,000 views after 24 hours. She picked up her second phone and called her manager. "Why is this happening? Do something. I can't lose my followers like this." The manager's voice was calm but firm. "Amaka, it's happening to everyone. You can't control the platform. Sometimes the spotlight moves on. But this is my life," she shouted. "Without Instagram, who am I?" There was silence on the other end before the manager replied. "That's exactly the problem, Amaka. You built your entire identity on followers. And now..." He trailed off, leaving the sentence unfinished. By the end of that month, 3 major brands pulled out of their contracts with her. Her boutique, neglected for so long, had lost most of its physical customers. Bills piled up, but the money was no longer coming in like before. And still, Chidi was nowhere to be found. She tried to call him one evening, her hands trembling. When he finally picked up, his voice was distant. "Chidi, I need you," she whispered. "You've always had me, Amaka," he said quietly. "But you chose them instead." Tears welled in her eyes. "Please, I can change." "Amaka," he interrupted gently, "do you even remember what peace feels like? Because I've started to remember. And I can't lose it again." Before she could reply, the line went dead. That night, Amaka lay in bed alone, her phone beside her. Notifications buzzed, but they no longer gave her joy. Instead, they mocked her, reminders of the world she had chosen over her marriage. For the first time in a long while, she felt the weight of silence. Not just Chidi's silence, but the silence of her own soul. Fame was slipping away. Love was already gone. And all she had left was the glow of a screen that no longer cared for her. The house was too quiet. Amaka sat alone on the living room couch, her phone in her hand, the television on but muted. The glow from the ring light still lingered in the corner of the room, abandoned after her failed attempt to record a motivational video earlier that day. She had pressed record 3 times, but each time her voice cracked and she couldn't go on. For the first time, she couldn't fake it. She looked around the house and saw the emptiness she had once ignored. Chidi's favorite shoes were gone from the corner by the door. His ties no longer hung on the wardrobe handle. Even the faint scent of his cologne, the one that always lingered on his side of the bed, was fading away. He hadn't said the words outright, but his absence screamed louder than anything else. He was gone. Amaka buried her face in her hands. "What have I done?" she whispered to herself. Earlier that day, she had bumped into Ifeoma at the supermarket. "My sister," Ifeoma said gently after noticing Amaka's pale face. "You don't look well. How are you holding up?" Amaka forced a smile. "I'm fine. Just tired." But Ifeoma wasn't fooled. She touched Amaka's hand. "Don't lie to me. Where is Chidi?" Amaka's eyes welled up. She swallowed hard, her voice breaking. "He doesn't come home anymore. I think I lost him." Ifeoma sighed deeply, shaking her head. "Amaka, I warned you. Fame can never fill the place of love. Followers can never replace family." Her words echoed in Amaka's mind long after they parted. That evening, Amaka wandered into their bedroom. The bed looked wider than ever, her side still messy with makeup kits and clothes she hadn't put away, while his side remained cold and untouched. She picked up a framed photo from the nightstand, their wedding picture. In it, Chidi held her with so much joy. His smile genuine, his eyes full of hope. Amaka's own face glowed with innocence and love, a far cry from the hollow-eyed woman she had become. Her chest tightened. "What happened to us?" she whispered to the photograph. "What happened to me?" Her phone buzzed suddenly. For a brief second, her heart leaped, thinking maybe it was Chidi. But when she looked, it was just another notification, a random comment from a stranger. "Falling off. Not interesting anymore." The words cut deeper than she expected. Not because of the stranger, but because it mirrored exactly what she feared Chidi now thought of her. She dropped the phone, covering her face with both hands as sobs racked her body. For years, she had chased the applause of strangers, building her self-worth around their comments and likes. And now, when those voices were fading, she was left with nothing but silence. No followers, no husband, no peace. Late into the night, Amaka finally stood up and wandered through the house. Each room echoed with memories. The kitchen where Chitty once surprised her with breakfast. The balcony where they used to sit and eat roasted corn together. The dining table where laughter had once filled the air before it was replaced by the clicking of her phone camera. The walls seemed to whisper the truth she had tried so hard to avoid. She had traded the love of her life for the fleeting glow of fame. And now she had neither. In desperation, she picked up her phone and opened Instagram. Her profile stared back at her, the carefully curated images of a perfect life that no longer existed. She hovered over the Go Live button, her finger trembling. Maybe if she spoke to her followers, if she opened up, they would remind her she wasn't alone. Maybe they would still care. But then a sharp thought struck her. Even if they respond, will it matter? When the live ends, who will still be here? She dropped the phone back on the couch. For the first time since her fame began, Amaka realized that the applause of the world meant nothing if there was no one beside you to share it with. That night, Amaka lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. The silence pressed down on her chest, heavier than any crowd she had ever faced. And for the first time, she admitted the truth aloud. I lost my husband. I lost my peace. And it was my fault. Amaka stood at the center of her empty living room, the walls echoing with a silence she had never known before. Her ring light still leaned against the corner, her phone mounted on its tripod as though waiting for her to perform. But she no longer had the energy, no longer had the fire. Her followers had dwindled to almost nothing, her brand deals had dried up, and the people who once filled her DMs with compliments had moved on to the next viral sensation. What was left of Amaka's world was only this house. And it felt like a stranger's place now. Chitty was gone. She hadn't noticed the day he quietly packed his things. There was no big fight, no storming out, no slamming doors. One evening he had simply looked at her, really looked at her one last time, and then walked away. And she hadn't even lifted her head from her phone. It was weeks later that she discovered he had rented a small apartment across town. He had gone back to his roots, teaching evening classes at a community school, investing his time in people who valued him. His life looked peaceful. When Amaka visited him, trembling with apologies, he listened in silence. His face was calm, his eyes steady, but there was a distance she couldn't bridge. Chitty, please, she begged, her voice cracking. I lost myself. I thought I was building something. I thought it mattered. But it doesn't. None of it matters without you. Amaka, I loved you more than anything. All I ever wanted was to share my life with you. But you chose the world instead. And now the world has abandoned you, and so did I. Not out of anger, but because I need peace. Her tears fell hot and fast. She wanted to promise him she would change, that she would throw away her phone, delete her account, start over. But as she stood there, she realized the truth. Some losses cannot be undone. That night, Amaka walked home under the streetlights, feeling the weight of her choices. For the first time in years, she looked at the world without a camera lens between them. The people walking, the children laughing, the couples holding hands, they were living while she had been performing. And in her heart, she whispered the lesson she had learned too late. Sparkles chasing validation outside the home can destroy what's inside it. When the lights go off and the followers disappear, what remains is the family you either cherished or lost.
Kindly subscribe, like, and comment for more interesting stories.